And then also, kind of, Chris, not to go back Big Sky centric, but it kind of is in the sense, we're going to see the Montanas this fall. We're going to see Sac State this fall. Those are teams that were seeded in 2019 that sat out of 2020. So we're going to see if that made a difference. If Montana State and Montana all of a sudden compete for a national title this year, then we can actually give all the Grizz and Bobcat fans credit for bemoaning that it wasn't a real championship finally, because that's all they want to hear. So again, not just them, but Central Arkansas, teams like that who we didn't see in the spring. The Central Arkansas, like you said, Chris, was a top 15 team in a lot of people's preseasons, had a great fall season back there in Central Arkansas before they did not play in the spring. So I think let's see if there is some, let's see how the teams who sat out and didn't play adjust and if they make a difference come January, if they're fighting for a title in Frisco.
Is it real? And then, Boatman, God, man, you kind of stole them all. Obviously, if teams like Sam Houston, if South Dakota State, who has hurt starting 2 quarterbacks, if they regress and don't look as competitive, does it just prove that rest over rust, the rest is going to win? Or is it just a fluke thing that, Montana, we've been pretty blunt on this show. Montana did not play in the spring, not because there's snow on the ground. They did not play in the spring because they had no quarterback. Montana State did not play in the spring because they just had a coach that was like 3 weeks on the job. Like, yes, snow and bad weather played a part, but they played, well, Montana State didn't, but Montana played games. They were very well capable of games, one of which had fans in the stands. So, like, Montana and Montana State are going to be poised to be pretty good this year. Teams like South Dakota State, I'm getting a lot of heat. I released my top 25 today for having South Dakota 6th, which apparently pisses people off now. Like, in a team that, or in a division of football that you get 24 teams in a playoff, apparently being 6th is like cause for the apocalypse. But I think you're going to see, can South Dakota State play with a 3rd-string quarterback and be even remotely what they were last year? They dominated the line of scrimmage in every game they played. So, like, I'm looking at Sam Houston and South Dakota State and NDSU. Like, that is your line. If those teams play good, then, it proves that the spring was legit. If those teams falter, and teams like Montana, Sac State, Chattanooga, who quit, I guess they played for a bit, but these teams that opted out, if they have good seasons, like you said, that was the whole argument during the spring. It's just going to continue into the fall. It's just a year-long argument. That is going to be the underlying storyline the entire season, is how the teams that sat out are doing compared to the teams that did not.
Now, you just touched on the storyline I'm going to appreciate the most, which is more the absence of a storyline. And it's the last season, it was so damn grating to me to have to go over and over about is the season legit or not, when really it was 2 schools, Montana and Montana State, who bitched about the season not being legit. Otherwise, my experience was most schools understood if you didn't play, it's because you couldn't afford to or had some variable. And if you did, hey, sweet, do your best. The end. A few schools dropped out. That was annoying to have that discussion come back up again. It's just over. The way it exists now is kind of like the NBA comparison of like, hey, was there not enough rest time in between these seasons? We're going to see, I hope for the sake of the players, that there is.